Hello, this is Amanda Malave with Business 312. Today we're going to go over exam number 2 review guide. This is for chapters 7, 8, 9, 10, and 12. Please note that the exam is 90 minutes and it has 2 parts. One is the multiple choice and the second part is the cases. You must submit the cases. It is requirement from the standpoint that this class requires that you show the ability to analyze cases and apply concepts. That is a requirement of the course. Skipping the cases will impact your overall grade and potentially cause you to have an incomplete. So make sure that you complete the cases. Please make sure that you complete all the study plan, chapter quizzes, and homework. This also means you need to complete the brand new case. You will not be able to move forward into chapter 16 quiz or into the exam if you do not submit a fully completed brand new case. The cases that you have are right here. In this particular instance, there's no page number. My marketing lab has changed formats, so when you're looking up cases, the best thing to do is to look up the name or copy and paste the name into e-text. So let's take a look at how that would look. So for example, if you have do as one of the names of the cases, I think it was do it, or real marketing, you would put it in here. And there it would pull up all of the real marketing cases that are available. Just put in real marketing and press enter and it pulls them all up. So there you go. If it's at the end of the case, of course, you would go to the contents of the end of the case, chapter case, and go to the end of the chapter after the review and extending the concepts. And go to the applications and cases. And it's usually one of the cases in this section, if that's what it indicates. So that's the way to find the cases. So let's go over just the study tips. Make sure that you view the exam videos and also the instructor videos. Those are also available on YouTube as well. Note that there is no chapter video for chapter 12. So for that one, just read the e-text. However, there is also interactive PowerPoints that you might want to take a look at. So let's take a look at chapter 12 interactive PowerPoint. So you would right click and open a new tab. And what this is a interactive version of the chapter review. And it basically goes through most of the chapter, but again, it doesn't go through everything, and it's very interactive. There's lots of questions and different simulations, and it can be very fun to do. So for example, you could check your understanding by putting answers in different categories, and also some different ways to look at some of the concepts. So these chapter reviews are great, just in case you want a little bit more review. There's one for chapter 7, 8, 10, and 12, but there is not one for chapter 9. So let's just take a look at chapter 7. Again, I'd like you to finish all the work. Make sure that you look at the objective review and key terms. Again, this is page 213, but if my marketing lab doesn't have a page number, then again, when I say go to objective review and key terms, you would go to the e-text, chapter 7, and review and extending the concepts. And this is a really great overview of the chapter concepts and also of chapter terms. So if you go to the very end, there's chapter terms. And there's something that you don't necessarily know or just want to get refreshed on, then you can click on that particular term and it will take you to that section. How this works is I gave you the objectives that you'll need to understand, and these usually tie in really, really well with the exam review cases. So it also ties into the presentations. So let's take a look at the PowerPoint. So if you go to PowerPoint number 7, right here, you can always find them under resources. Chapter PowerPoint presentations, and then go to chapter number 7, and you click on it. It'll take a few minutes to download. They're pretty big. You'll usually need to enable editing, but don't have these open during the exams because it'll block you out of the actual exam. So the thing to know about these chapters is take a quick look at it, align yourself with, it says here, learning objective number 1. In the exam review, it says that you need to learn objective number 1, market segmentation, market targeting, differentiation, positioning. And then it says that these are terms that you need to learn about section 7.1, figure 7.1, which is in the e-text. And then also a lot of the sections have little targets on them. So these certain PowerPoint slides that have targets, just really pay special attention to them. And then also pay special attention to what I'm talking about in the exam reviews. That should really, really help you. So let's take a look at the rest of the exam review. It basically goes through all the sections in chapter 7 that we'll be reviewing. And note that some of the sections aren't being covered. So if it's not covered, then it's probably more than likely, more than 99.9% of the time, it's not on the exam. Again, this is chapter 8. What I want to make sure that you understand on chapter 8 is this particular matrix. Again, when it says things like figure 8.6 and learning objective 8.4, what I would do is I would go to the e-text again, go to chapter 8, go, if it's going to let me, and if not, then what I would say to do is just to refresh it. There we go. So I'm going to go to chapter 8. And what it said is go to section 8.3, services marketing. And then it said to go to figure 8.3. So I'm going to look under section 8.3 and figure 8.3. So I would just make sure that I understood all of these. Going back to the exam review, same thing for chapter 9. Make sure you know all of these terms. And if it has a little asterisk next to it, make sure that you really understand that and potentially even look at the video reviews on YouTube. And the reason being is because that means that it's going to be a scenario-based exam question, one of the longer questions. So in this particular case for chapter 9, there's going to be scenario reviews or exam questions that are a little bit more harder on these different product life cycle matrices. Same thing for exam chapter 10. There's certain matrices that you need to understand. Please make sure that for chapter 10, you know how to do cost plus pricing, and make sure you round up for the answer. So here is a great example on how to do it, understanding what variable costs are, fixed cost, and how to calculate those, and how to calculate unit cost, variable cost, and market price. And then also how this demand curves works. That's important to understand. And then for chapter 12, again, there is no video for this, but there's that integrated PowerPoint that we talked about that you should be able to go to. And from there, just make sure that you understand those key concepts. And then there is a scenario-based question in chapter 12 too, and the terms. And then last but not least, make sure you understand this rubric and how to do the cases. And the format is super critical. So from that standpoint, most sections of that case, if you're missing something, is 3 points off. The cases are 30 points each. Please make sure that it's your own words. If I see that it's plagiarism, you will get a 0 for the entire exam. And there may be other consequences to that. So make sure that it's your words, that you're actually doing the work, especially since you're actually signing off on an honor pledge. Here is an example of how to do a case with Buffalo Wild Wings, which is in chapter 1, if you want to read that. And again, the best thing to do with any case, so let's just take one of the cases in chapter 7, which is Real Marketing 7.1, Mountain Dew Doing the Do. So I am going to go to my e-text, and I'm going to put Real Marketing, and then click enter, and then I'm going to look for chapter 7. There we go. What I suggest here is that in most cases that are related to the real marketing cases, what's best to do is, number one, to understand what chapter it's in and what section it's in. So this is about market segmentation. So you're getting a real good picture of what that case is about. And then going to this particular case right here, what I always suggest is to read the few paragraphs right before the case. And it really gives you a lot of information. So for example here, it says a company can learn a lot by analyzing loyalty patterns in the market. It should start by studying its own loyal customers, etc. For example, Mountain Dew has turned its loyal customers into a Dew Nation, a passionate superfan. And how did they do that? They did it by segmentation, by understanding who that loyal market is. So from that standpoint, it gives you a lot of clues about what this case is about. That's the end of the exam review. If you have any questions or concerns, please let me know. But everything is in this particular exam review, and it should be an overall guide of what you should focus on and what you shouldn't focus on. If it's not in the exam review, then it's probably not going to be on the exam. Mahalo.